Back in the car. Let's hear it, let's hear it. That's a good noise, friends. That's a good noise. Ooh. What's up, everyone? Today I wanted to make a video on the differences between the Mazda 3 and the MazdaSpeed 3. So I've driven both of them in my lifetime of 20 years, and I would want to make a video of the differences because, for one, it's going to help me because I'm learning all of this stuff as I go. Two, I think people would want to see what the differences between the MazdaSpeed 3 and the Mazda 3 are. So let's get in the video. So I'll start with the body differences first. On the Mazda 3, there are different wheels than on the MazdaSpeed 3. The Mazda 3 come with a 5-spoke wheel, I believe it is, and the MazdaSpeed 3 come with like a little better wheel. It's a 10-spoke wheel. I don't think it's that big of a difference. I don't really care either way. I'm gonna plasti dip them either way. So that's the first difference. Obviously on the MazdaSpeed 3, it says MazdaSpeed 3, and the Mazda 3 says Mazda 3, so that's pretty obvious. The next difference is one of a big difference. The difference I like is in the MazdaSpeed 3, the spoiler on the back is more lively, in my opinion. It's out more. You can put your hand underneath because it's out more, I guess. But it is a front wheel drive car, which means the spoiler really won't do much for that. It'll push the car up, if anything, but it looks cool. And the last big difference for me, the MazdaSpeed 3 opposed to the Mazda 3, MazdaSpeed 3 has a hood scoop, is pretty sweet. It lets in air for the turbo. And that's gonna lead me to the next section of the car we're gonna talk about, and it's the engine well. Obviously, it's the MazdaSpeed 3, meaning the main difference of the car will be the engine. The engine of the MazdaSpeed 3 has a turbo that boosts the horsepower between the two, making the Mazda 3 a little under 100 horsepower more than the Mazda 3. So the MazdaSpeed 3 has 280 pounds of torque, and that goes along with 263 horsepower, which is pretty sweet. A difference between the transmission, or the engine, I guess, between the two is in the MazdaSpeed 3, there's a downfall in that the manufacturers made it so with first and second gear, you cannot use as much horsepower and torque that the car has, because they're trying to make the car a little safer, trying to steer away from torque steer. But in the Mazda 3, you can use all the horsepower you have and all the torque you have throughout the entire, throughout all the gears. Ooh. Also, the suspension's a little different on the MazdaSpeed 3. It's stiffer. I'm not exactly sure what suspension it is or what it's called or anything like that. I just know it's stiffer, and the steering is a little more darty, more sporty feel. What's surprising to me is that the Mazda 3 and the MazdaSpeed 3 both have the same exact brakes, and both brake at the same time, I guess, or same power, or whatever it's called. I'm not even really sure. You guys can fill me in on that in the comment section below. But yeah, they both have 4-disc brakes. I was surprised at that because I thought the Mazda 3 would only have 2-disc brakes, being that it's not as powerful of a car, so it wouldn't need to be stopped as hard, I guess. But they both have 4-disc brakes. The 0 to 60s on the two cars are obviously different because one car is turboed and one car is not. So the Mazda 3 0 to 60, I believe, is 8.1 seconds. And the MazdaSpeed 3 is 6.3 seconds. So there's definitely a boost of power there. Now, getting to the interior of the car, there are some major modification changes on the interior, which definitely leads to, you know, more luxury, and it's nice, in my opinion. The MazdaSpeed 3 I have right now has a different navigation. It has navigation, which is sweet. It's a little tiny screen. I think it's like a 2x3 inch screen in the front of the dash, but that's pretty cool. The differences between the tachometer of the two is the MazdaSpeed 3 does not show the oil temp, but the Mazda 3 tachometer does show the oil temp, which is very weird because this car is boosted, so you think you'd want to know what the oil temp is. But there is a light that comes on if the oil temp is too cold or too warm. It just doesn't show you where on the spectrum of the temperature gauge what your oil temperature is, which is definitely weird. The MazdaSpeed 3 has a little boost gauge in the front, in between the RPMs and the miles per hour tachometer thingy. That's pretty sweet. The seats in the MazdaSpeed 3 are different. They have a red tint over everything, and not just the seat, but the door panels as well have like a red tint on the black, which is kind of cool. I mean, I'm definitely digging it considering I'm making the car blue and red, so that's definitely a plus to me. Guys, that was the video. I'm sure I missed a lot of things because I'm trying to get into this. I don't even know what this car has and what it doesn't have. So I'm learning little by little. If you guys know something that I missed out on, I'm sure some of you guys will. But leave it down below. Let me know what I didn't get to because I want to know what my car has and what it doesn't have, you know what I mean? So if you like the video, like the video. All right, I just had to rearrange my camera because it like fell down and crap, but I told myself I wanted to make a Q&A once I got big enough. And now that I kind of have people commenting, I want to make a Q&A. And I don't just want to make one Q&A video that's 10, 15 minutes long, answering a bunch of questions. I want to make a Q&A, or I want to answer questions every single video. But how I want to do it is I might take 1 to 3 questions every single video and make the Q&A or answer the questions in 1 minute flat or under. And I'm gonna put it at the end of every single video. So if you guys don't wanna watch it, I completely understand. You don't wanna see my answers to things. And you guys can just skip past it. So I'll tell you guys like, here's the Q&A, and you can just turn off the video if you don't want to. But if you do wanna watch it, if you do wanna ask questions to me, I wanna answer about 1 to 3 questions every single video. It's just exciting for me that I believe I can finally do that. Maybe get a question or two on videos I can answer, and it can be over anything. Car stuff, even though I don't know a lot about car stuff. Lifting stuff, anything. What's my favorite Pokemon? Anything in the world, guys. But I really want to do that. I think it'd be fun and exciting and a way to like interact with you guys more. You guys can ask questions and I'll answer them and put it at the end of the video. So if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. Okay, for real this time, guys. Peace out. Like the video.
I ain't got no problem spending all of my money.